Hey everybody, Xion here with Some Dude in Texas. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, hey, thanks for stopping by. So if you remember earlier on in my channel, I used to do what I called the weekly metal roundup, where I would listen to as many of the new releases as I could, pick 5 of them, and then talk about it. Well, I can no longer do every weekly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it once a month. I'll go and listen to as many as the new releases as I can for that month. Pick out about 4 or 5 that really stand out to me, and then maybe talk about a few others as well. So in this episode, man, I've got some killer stuff. So make sure you stay tuned. All right, here we go. Hey, we are 1 month down in the new year, and I hope everybody's having a good new year so far. But man, I tell you, January has some killer stuff that was released. There's a lot of new metal releases out there. So it took me a little bit. I mean, I was not able to, I'm sure I missed some, but checked out as many as I could. I'm not going to be doing no in-depth, reviews and go all into the history and previous albums if they had it. I'm kind of listening to them and just getting that first, response, first time listening to it, just kind of get my reaction. And I'm just picking out the ones that kind of stand out to me, the ones that I like. And I think maybe, people that watch this channel would like as well. So let's go ahead and we'll get started. All right, so the first one I have here is a band from Portland, Oregon named Dripping Decay. Man, this is a 6-song EP called Dripping. God, I can't even talk. Dripping. 6-song EP. It's called Ripping Remains. And first thing is the album cover, right? I dig it. I like this style of album cover. It's kind of hand drawn, nothing real crazy, just kind of a couple colors, and it's cool to see. You can make it out. But once again, it's a 6-song EP, and if you like that kind of underground, mid-tempo, just kind of sludgy, old school vibe death metal, man, these guys are going to be right up your alley. If you like, that death grind, with a touch of thrash as well, you're definitely going to like them. If you're fans of Repulsion, Autopsy, or Terrorizer, like I said, this would be your band. One thing that they did, it's a 6-song EP. They finish it with a cover of Halloween's Trick or Treat. Well, when I saw that, I was like, man, I don't know, because the style these guys are, they're real heavy, vocals are real heavy, and just kind of, like I said, that mid-tempo. But I tell you, man, they pull it off, man. These guitar players are killer. And vocals, man, works pretty good for it. But if there's one song that kind of stood out to me, it would be the song Lead to Kill. Man, I like it. It's pretty cool. Like I said, that first reaction, first time hearing it, man, it really kind of hit the ears. Pretty cool. So once again, Dripping Decay out of Portland, Oregon. Their 6-song EP, Ripping Remains. All right, now the next one here, it's a one-man band. He did it all, vocals, guitars, drum, programming, and he's out of New Jersey. And the band's called Engulf. And this is a full-length 8 songs. It's called The Dying Planet Reaps. And this is kind of a, death metal, a little bit of brutal, but I think it's kind of got that technical death metal to it as well. If you like bands like Hate Eternal or early Gore Guts or Decapitated, I even hear a little bit of Morbid Angel as well, man. You're going to dig this album. And like I said, it's a one-man band, and the dude is talented. I'm not going to, apologize. I'll butcher the last name, but his first name is Hal, and last name is Micro to Cisco. Sorry if I butchered it there, Hal. But anyway, killer stuff, man. Well-produced, just heavy guitars. Like I said, it's kind of got that technical but brutal death metal vibe to it. And if there's one song, like I said, my standout song on this, on the first listen I did, it would be The Nefarious Hive. Cool stuff, man. The intro riff on it is really killer, man. But once again, this is Engulf, one-man band out of New Jersey. It's 8 songs, and the title is The Dying Planet Weeps. Check it out. All right, the next one here is a band out of Chicago, but now they're out of Czechia. And this is a band that's been around, been around a long time. We even get a Porky Pig moment there. But it's a band that's been around for a while, right? Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with it. I haven't heard them before, but fortunately, I'm hearing them now. And I'm definitely going to have to go back and check out their back catalog. But this is the band Master. And they got a new 8-song full album with 2 bonuses. It's called Saints Dispelled. And man, this is just that old school death metal. If you like Autopsy, Benediction, Massacre, Obituary, Repulsion, man, you're going to love these guys if you're like me and never heard them. But just great kind of mid-tempo, old school death metal, man. Well produced. Vocals are cool. Definitely got that John Tardy kind of vibe to him, that Obituary vibe to him, man. Love it. Definitely going to pick this one up for sure. I think they've got it on CD and also vinyl, so I'm going to grab that one. And then for me, standout song on this so far, like I said, the quick listen I did would be Find Your Life. Just killer song. The whole album's good, man. Just right up my alley. I like that old school death metal. So once again, that's Masters, Saints Dispelled. All right, now next one is a band out of Norway called Sovereign. This is a 7-song, I guess you can call it EP, maybe full length, but they're kind of death metal, but with that technical vibe as well. And once again, it's Altered Realities is the name of the album. And if you like that early Sepultura, I can definitely hear that, especially in his vocals, man. It's got that mix, that sound like Max sounded on those first couple Sepultura albums, but also Pestilence, a little bit of Dark Angel, and a Demolition Hammer as well. Just all that old school, those classics, man. Those great bands. And let's see, standout song to me would be the track Counterattack. Once again, I kind of always, I'm a guitar player, so I love those guitar riffs, man. And if it's got a killer, intro riff, man, that always catches my attention. And Counterattack had that, and I really dig it. But if you like that early Sepultura, that Pestilence, Demolition Hammer, death metal, technical, a little bit of thrash, man, you're definitely going to love this album. Once again, it's Norway Sovereign. It's Altered Realities. All right, next one here is a band out of Montreal called Dissimulator. The 7-song album called Lower Form Resistance. And this is they kind of titled it as sci-fi, death, / thrash metal. But I'm also hearing a little bit of technical as well. Just killer guitar work, good production. Vocals are cool. Not, a little death metal, but more kind of on the more harsher thrash metal side. For me, one of the songs, I just did a quick listen on this, but a standout song to me would be Cybermorphism, there we go, / Mainframe. It's an 8-minute song. It's really cool. The beginning of it is, kind of slow, clean, guitar riff. Kind of reminds me a little bit of some of the earlier Testament stuff. Maybe Practice What You Preach, with a clean guitar riff, and then they've got kind of some riffs, some leads going over. It's pretty cool. Really caught my attention. Thought it was neat. Then it kicks into a pretty heavy riff and then just goes from there. But if you like that, that kind of crossover death thrash with that technical vibe to it, man, definitely check these guys out. I don't think you'd be disappointed. I've enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to listen to this one some more. But once again, that was Dissimulator, Lower Form Resistance. All right, now I don't want to have this video real long, so these next ones I'm going to kind of just do a quick mention, quick review, not really in depth. But they were, these still killer stuff. Some death metal, some thrash, and some kind of old school heavy metal as well. But the first two, man, are Swedish death metal. If you love that stuff, you're going to dig these guys. First one is Hellman, and the album is Born, Suffering, Death. And they kind of label it as death and roll. If you like Entombed, I think you're definitely going to like these guys. Next one is Carnal Savagery. These guys have been around a while. Swedish death metal, their new one. Won't disappoint, man. Got a quick listen to it. Killer stuff. And it's Into the Abysmal Void. All right, now these next bands, more kind of a brutal death metal vibe to them. First one being Morgue Terror, and it's self-titled track. These guys are out of New York. And this is, I would call it probably brutal death metal just because the vocals are almost like that, not as deep, but really heavy. But the riffs are more kind of just nothing real technical, kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to say exactly like Black Sabbath, but kind of got that vibe a little bit. Not doomy, but just kind of that upbeat, mid-tempo stuff. Cool stuff. Cool album cover as well. And then the next one, guys out of Texas, man, got to give them some love, right? But it's Corpse Pile, brutal death metal. Name of the EP is Hardcore Death Metal. So there you go, man. That says it all right there. All right, now the next couple bands, I would say kind of that new wave of thrash metal, right? So Xion out of Sweden, Between Shadows and Gods, kind of got that old school vibe to it, with maybe a little touch of the newer stuff. Vocalist, man, a guy can sing, man. He has that high range as well. Next band is Powerhouse, out of Texas. So got to show these guys, once again, show those Texas bands some love. But this is Darkest Before the Dawn's name of this album. These guys definitely kind of got an older Metallica vibe, like Ride the Lightning, maybe some Masters of the Puppets vibe to it. Vocalist is definitely, he doesn't sound like James at all. Kind of got his own style, but pretty cool, man. It's kind of hard to describe it, but I dig it. But that's Powerhouse. Check these guys out. Now, these last albums are just kind of that old school heavy metal, man. Just, kind of 80s, mid 80s, late 80s Judas Priest kind of style with that high, Rob Halford sound vocals to it, man. If you ever kind of need a break from the death metal and stuff like that, give these bands a listen, man. They're heavy. Fun listens too. But the first one is Savage, and it's called Night Stealer. These guys are out of Spain. Man, if you look at the album cover, it explains it all. Man, just old school kind of heavy metal. The guy can sing, man. Real high-pitched vocals. Next band is Show and Tell out of Arizona. Album is The Ritual Has Begun. Same thing, kind of heavy metal with maybe a little bit of, with some thrash to it as well, with the, the higher vocals. All right, so the last one is a band out of Indiana named Wizard Death. Cool name, right? The album cover really caught my attention. I was like, man, if this sounds anything like what, the album cover looks like, it's going to be some good stuff. And it is, man. It's just kind of old school heavy metal. If you like, King Diamond, Merciful Fate, even 3 Inches of Blood, if you like that style of vocals, you're definitely going to love this band, man. It's cool stuff, man. I really enjoyed it. All right, so that wraps up this episode, man. I appreciate y'all watching. Hey, be sure to check out some of these bands if you haven't already, man. I think y'all really enjoy it. January had some killer releases. February looks like it's going to be pretty good, too. Massacre's got an EP coming out, and it's based off of John Carpenter movies. And the one song that they've released that I've heard, man, it sounds like it's going to be a good one. So I'm pretty sure that's going to end up on my metal roundup for next month. But anyway, man, I appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to leave me some comments. Let me know what y'all think about these bands I talked about on this episode. And once again, man, I appreciate y'all watching. Until next time, y'all take care.